My name is Pam Copley. I've been a CASA for about going on 4 years, and I've served 8 children during that time. I think I first decided to become a volunteer because in my family when I was raised, volunteering and helping others was really important. Kids were something that were really important to me. So my husband and I made the decision to become foster parents, and we fostered children for about 10 years. And then I had actually met a CASA, and I was so impressed with what she was doing with my foster child, I decided to become a CASA myself.
I'm Scott Appel, the Executive Director of CASA of Missoula. So I've known Pam for about 2 years, although I've only recently gotten to know her a lot better because she's a CASA on one of my cases. And Pam is just absolutely tenacious and relentless. Prior to taking on a case, our CASA volunteers go through 30 hours of training. And in that training, they learn about the court process, the roles of the various parties. They learn about adverse childhood effect, give people some background so that when they get to a case, they have some sense of how to proceed.
The first time I met the children, they were still so upset about what had happened. They wanted to know how their parents were doing. They were terrified that they were going to be in trouble. Emma and Liam were so educationally neglected, physically neglected, mentally abused, physically abused, and they were so dysregulated that they could hardly even stay focused in school. The resource teacher at the elementary school told me that Liam couldn't even focus on school. He would come into her room and sit under a table in the fetal position and just rock back and forth. The little girl was she was in 3rd grade and she was working on about a 1st grade level. It just melted my heart. Unfortunately, they were very young. Their mother was killed in a car accident. And then the abuse started. And when they moved to Missoula some years later, and they were removed from their home, the father also died in a car accident. And the stepmother, who was the only mother they had known for any length of time, she made it pretty clear that she wasn't capable of taking care of them, so they lost her as well. So losing 3 parents was very traumatic for them. What I wanted them to know is that I was just there to be their friend.
CASA has a pretty unique role on a case. The parents' attorneys usually have a lot of cases. CFS usually has, the individual workers have a lot of cases going on at the same time. A CASA generally only has 1 case. They might have 2, but that's pretty infrequent. So they only have 1 case, and so it really gives them the opportunity to focus on the kids on that case and make sure that their best interests are being represented.
I talked to their principal, their resource teachers, their school teachers, just to find out as much as I could about the kids.
Make sure that the judge is aware of everything that's going on with the children, with the parents, develops some concerns and writes up some recommendations so that the judge has all of that in his or her hands before the hearing and has a good sense of what direction to take a case in.
My name is Paige Rockos. I am an alumni of Kappa Alpha Theta, and we work closely with CASA through education and volunteering. I met Pam when I was student teaching in the winter of 2021, and Emma was in my class. Through that communication, we were able to set up tutoring 3 times a week with 3 members of Theta. So she helped facilitate conversations between the family and the teacher and the tutors. I continually wanted to keep in contact about how Emma was doing, which was a beautiful thing that she didn't just care to get it started, but she really cared to make sure that it was beneficial.
The greatest thing about being a CASA is I don't have an agenda. I have no pony in the race, so I can come in and just be there for the children.
So Pam's really done a lot to go above and beyond on her cases. As an example, with Emma, she arranged for 3 Thetas to provide tutoring. For Liam, she was able to get him into summer camp and arrange some outside funding for that. And then for both of the kids, she was able to keep them in the same school to make sure that they had that continuity.
This case is a success story for so many reasons. They were able to stay in the foster home they were placed in from day one. They went from being way behind in school and so many emotional problems to being flourishing children. These children are going to have a great life.
And then what do you guys like about Pam?
That she's nice and she got to see us again.
Nice and
Kind, fun.
So the process for selecting Volunteer of the Year is not an easy one. I mean, we have so many great volunteers, and maybe in the future we should name more, but Pam this year really did stand out, and I want to congratulate her.
This is the most important job I've ever done. Advocating for these children and being a voice for them when they don't have a voice inside the courtroom is unbelievably gratifying.
I think Pam really deserves to be Volunteer of the Year, just based on some of the things I've already mentioned about how she goes above and beyond, and even beyond that, she arranges for quilts to be made for a lot of the CASA kids. She's been with us for a lot of years, done a lot of cases, and I mean everyone just gives it her all. So if we had 100 Pams, it would just be incredible. We do have pretty close to 100 Pams, but she is pretty incredible.
I think it's important for people to understand that becoming a CASA is not a full-time job. Anybody can do it, even if you're working full-time. There are foster children out there just waiting for CASAs, and I promise you it's the hardest job you'll ever love. It's the most important job I've ever had, and if there's anybody out there who thinks that they would like to be a CASA, please step forward. It will change your life in so many ways.
As we celebrate our Light of Hope Gala, if you feel like you can help children like Liam and Emma and volunteers like Pam, please go to our website, casamissoula.org. Consider donating on one of our silent auction items, or making a donation, or possibly even volunteering.